This is so weird, honestly, because I never thought that I would ever be doing YouTube in a million years, but here we are. If you haven't seen me on social media before, my name is Phoenix Gray. I'm an interior designer and I've been doing hospitality and commercial spaces for the last 10 years. You may know me from TikTok and Instagram as Design Daddy, where I'm giving daily advice on how to achieve a cohesive look in your space and designing your dream home. In today's video, we are going to talk about the worst interior design trends that have been coming out of 2023. I want you to keep in mind that trends are just that. They come in super fast and they fizzle and burn out just as quickly. So when you are using trends in your space, use them sparingly. If you are committing to a trend to envelop your entire space, you're gonna get bored of it so quickly. At the end of the day, it's not gonna be for you. Before we jump into this is just a disclaimer. Remember, this is my professional opinion. If you love these items, if you want to incorporate them into your home, by all means, do it up and love it. Honestly, they're just not Design Daddy approved. First on the docket is the plaster trend. It came in like a storm. Everyone thought it was the coolest new take on any furniture piece, decor piece, to really add that organic, modern element into the space. I get it, there are some really cool aesthetic looking ones of this, but this joint compound that's used to completely spackle an entire piece not only ruins it, but joint compound is not meant to be put on these kind of materials. It is going to break and chip off, and honestly, in my opinion, it looks horrendous. There are no good looks of this that are actually functional in the space. A lot of DIYers have been doing complete tabletops in this plaster look. First of all, who's cleaning these tops? Because there is no way you can put any cleaning agent on a joint compound that is not going to completely soak in, crack and ruin it. But not only that, the amount of dust that is compiled and the buildup of sanding these, the upkeep of these is so unnecessary. Honestly, it doesn't do anything aesthetically for your space and it just looks so messy. Foam spray furniture is another really big trend that thankfully has started to die off in 2023. It's still transitioned from last year into this one, but every single person on TikTok thought it was a genius idea to cover furniture and mirrors in this foam. First of all, it's toxic. Why are you having this raw compound agent completely covering your furniture and destroying it altogether? I hate to say it, but this looks like someone just pulled the intestines out of someone out of a horror movie and wrapped it in it. It does not look good. It is so unaesthetically pleasing that it looks messy. You're just adding more clutter into your space. I get everyone during COVID wanted to create these beautiful and cute, like little kitschy things. This was one of those trends that should have died so quickly. Zilliga tiles, or Zilliga, they have come in like a storm in 2023. And don't get me wrong, these are very beautiful, imperfect tiles. But keep that in mind, they are imperfect tiles. You are not going to get that clean aesthetic look for any backsplash or any wall or floor formulation. The last thing you want to use these is on the floor because you are going to trip. It's just not going to work. Most of the formats are so small anyways that you can only use them on walls, but look at these examples. These are so messy because they are imperfect. I think they can be done very beautifully and aesthetically as a wall detail in a bathroom, but I would completely avoid these as your backsplashes in the kitchen and your entire formulated showers. It looks so messy. The grime and water buildup on all of these is going to be such a complete nightmare when it comes to cleaning. Curved sofas are another really big one that's been really hot right now, transitioning into this year.
So hot right now.
Don't get me wrong, like all of these other incredibly beautiful interior design aesthetic styles, they are so beautiful in a space. I also want you to keep in mind that curved sofas take up so much more room than your typical rectangular or square shapes. The curve themselves don't fit into an actual corner piece in a room, and typically, like the average person, we live in pretty small spaces and we don't have the room and the capability of having a curved sofa in the middle of the room. It takes up an enormous amount of space. They are beautiful. If I had the space for them, I 100% would have one of these sofas, but in practice, these just don't work with the space themselves. And the idea of them is to have more of this seating arrangement, which actually creates a really beautiful landscape for sitting and hosting. But at the end of the day, there's no room for these. I'm sorry, they gotta go. Straight to jail.
Right to jail.
The BOUCLE fabric has been a cult following for so many people online. It got introduced, this loose weave textile that honestly can be really pretty, but there is no lasting power on this fabric. The rub count for this actual textile is so low that the griminess buildup and the actual wear of this fabric is not great over time. It starts to pill, it starts to pile. Because it's more of a synthetic base, it ends up looking grimier and dirtier way quicker than any other fabric. Like, look at these examples. The fact that we have this complete pile, like you can see exactly where that individual has been sitting on that chair or sofa, is not a good look. Whether you call it BOUCLE, whatever you want to call it, this is a complete miss and I would avoid this in your home. The DIY travertine table that everyone has been doing online. These are a really kind of cool aspect to bring the extra warmth and texture and dimension into a space. I want you to think about the actual material that's being used. These are travertine pavers that are purchased from most Home Depots, Lowe's, any hardware stores you can get them from. They're super affordable. The problem with these pavers is they aren't sealed. Travertine is an extremely porous stone and it catches and absorbs everything in it. Not only that, but the idea of building these travertine DIY tables that have like this L shape for the support, if you are moving these around, they are going to break and fall apart in an instant. No amount of liquid nails that you are using to keep these together is going to keep that piece functional. And trust me, the last thing you want is one of these pavers falling on your foot or, God forbid, one of your animals when you're not home. The disco ball trend is another huge one that has taken social media by storm. We get it, you love Beyonce's Renaissance album and it is everywhere. Everyone has turned those cowboy hats into disco ball madness. I have also seen this transitioning into the interior design trends where they're covering their furniture pieces. They're having disco balls everywhere. Let me give credit to the queen, Kelly Wearstler. She is the one that came out with this beautiful melting disco ball. And honestly, it's incredible. But for the price point, I get it. It's not at everyone's affordability. Everyone has created this DIY kind of like dupe version of it, but they've taken it a little bit too far, much like all of these DIY trends. They've added it into absolutely everything. The aesthetic of that light hitting the disco ball mirror is really cute, but it gets so sickening and boring over time. Following any trend can be lots of fun, I get it, but I want you to keep that in mind that if you're committing an entire space to a trend, it is going to burn out and fizzle just as quickly as it was introduced. If you want to achieve that beautiful cohesive look for timeless features to include in your home that are going to withstand the test of time. In my opinion, timeless design aesthetic styles will always withstand any test of time, and you can pick up on so many different color palettes, aesthetic styles, and design trends that really work with everything that you're including in your home. Having neutral features with little bits of pops of color will always be a great kind of starting point if you're not too sure where to start, and those pops of colors or those pops of trends can be what you introduce that are easily interchangeable. I understand why people get so excited about these design trends because they come in, they are so exciting, and honestly, they're new. It comes down to that age-old line is that you always want what you don't have. And the constant exposure of social media and seeing all these new things is exciting. Every new video you see something with something brand new, something sparkly, and that's what you want. Let me know in the comments below on what interior design trends you absolutely hate and which ones that you would fight me on. If you aren't already, subscribe to my channel. Now listen to your dad and click that button. You can also follow me on all social medias at Mr. Phoenix Gray. If you're ever second guessing yourself, just think, what would Design Daddy do?